Unless you get your boobs out, he wouldn't have you on the show.
No,
so she did.
But I don't actually think... I don't think that was my fault. I think Linda just had a...
no, but you were.
They just came out.
You always had a bit. But, well, yeah, they
did. They did. I mean,
they
you know,
did.
didn't they? And they probably still do. I haven't seen her for ages. Is she okay?
She's fine. Well,
Good.
no, I'll tell you after.
All right, OK.
Do you mean to be so controversial? Do you say things to be controversial?
No, I don't. I say what I feel. I say what I think other people feel. And quite often I will have spoken to a producer during the day about what I want to do on the show. And quite often I'll get in and something clicks in my mind as I'm sitting there waiting for the news to finish. You know how it goes.
I do.
And something clicks into my mind and all the hard work of the day is out of the window and I'm off on a different tack.
Path,
absolutely,
exactly.
and I can't help it.
What's the percentage with you? Because with doing, you know, the shows that we have done, I find that people tend to listen to you because they agree with you, and there's a tiny minority of people who listen because they disagree with you. What about you? What's the percentage?
Yeah, well, I think it's sort of 50-50. I think lots of people actually dislike what I say and quite often listen to see if I'm going to be tripped up, and a lot of people agree with me. But, I mean, ask me a question and I'll tell you what I think.
You get hate mail?
I don't read it.
No.
But I do. I get hate emails now. I mean, the
you
only
get
letters.
10,000 I was reading.
Something like that. Loads. I can't
they
keep up.
They don't all hate him. Some of them
no,
like
some
him.
of them are nice. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as people don't ignore you or think you're boring,
exactly,
it doesn't really matter.
Well, we're not ignoring you now, but I am going to have to shut you up. Oh. But we're really pleased that you came to see us.
Thank you very much
You're
indeed.
very welcome. He's almost a celebrity. It's James Webb.
Almost.
After the break, we'll be revealing which of us prefers sex when they're sober. Yes, without the need of alcohol. The brave woman. Back soon. Welcome back to Loose Women this Monday lunchtime. Still to come, she's taking a break from panto preparations. Yes, brightening up our lunchtime. It's Maplin's legend, Sue Pollard. OK, now we're all familiar with the old adage, never a borrower or a lender be. And a new survey seems to support this view, with 82% of us suffering adversely when we've lent money to friends or relatives. So, Colleen, is that something that's ever happened to you, if you've lent money to friends or relatives?
Oh, I think it's a very dodgy situation. I think it's probably happened to everybody here and at home at some point, you know, whether it be £20 or £10,000, you know, there's always that. I think it's really... it's just really difficult, and especially when it comes to family, because if family ask to borrow money, you feel that you can never say no because it's family and you don't want to see them struggling.
Oh, you can.
Shut your face. But, yeah, I might chat to you about that, actually. But, so I think it's a difficult situation when it comes to family, because at the same time as well, it feels with family you can never go, by the way,
so you wouldn't ask for it back then if you lent somebody money?
Well, I can't ask for it back, and then inside I get churned up, not because I want it all back, but I just want them to acknowledge they borrowed it. And even if they said, well, look, you know, it's going to take me years to pay this back, but I'll give you £1 a week. It's just the offer of, I still know that...
Being gracious about it.
Yeah, I still know, you know, I appreciate you've lent it, and this is how much I'll pay you a week, and that would be fine. But it's kind of when people borrow money and then totally blank it forevermore and never mention it again, or say, I haven't forgotten, you know,
just
all of that.
Just assume that you've given
and just
it to
assume
them.
that... Well, yeah, and I think that the thing is that when people do come to you for money, especially if it's a lot of money, when it's £10, you'll probably get back. But if it's a lot of money, they're not going to pay you back because they haven't got the money.
I don't think it matters... I don't think it really matters how much it is. You know, what I can't bear is the dishonesty of it all. I can't bear people who say, oh, can you lend me £10? Knowing full well they're not going to give it back. And also, it happens with a lot of people with big sums of money as well. You know, and I've heard people say before, you know, if you lend people money, then you shouldn't expect it back. Well, you know, if you look up the word lend in the dictionary, it means to pay back. You know, if someone come to me and said, will you give me some money, I'll just say no. You know, if someone says, will you lend me some money, I'll go, yeah, how are you going to pay it back? You know, I'm just not in the business of giving money to people. I work hard for my money. You know, I give money to charity, I give it where it's absolutely needed. And the good thing about my family is that, you know, they wouldn't ask. They wouldn't actually ask.
Too scared.
No.
I think I'd rather rob a
Listen,
bank.
the thing is, if there was a desperate need and I could see it, then I would offer it. You know, I would offer it.
you
And
wouldn't
I
see
think
'em out
they
in the
no,
street.
absolutely not.
But would you ask for it back? You're not like Colleen.
No.
You wouldn't be too
I'd
scared
say
to ask
that
it
they
back.
wouldn't
Too
borrow it
shy.
unless they could give it back. And I know that for an absolute fact. And it's probably because of the way my mum brought us up. You know, I asked to borrow money off my mum loads of times. She just said, no, sort it out yourself. You got yourself in a mess, you sort it out. And I always did, and I always have. And now I don't borrow, I don't lend, I don't do anything because it causes trouble.
But it is nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Scrooge, and you will be visited by 3 spirits later today.
I'm not Scrooge, though. I'm generous.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm
And
just not daft.
I think if somebody comes to you and you've got the money, especially family, then give them it, because if you've got it, why not? And.
But then they just take advantage.
No, they don't. Well, I'm quite lucky mine don't. And I think when they don't ask for it back, it's because they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's total embarrassment. For someone to come up and ask for money, they're in dire straits for a start-off to even ask you for it, because there's nothing more degrading and humiliating than having to ask to get you out the...
But then I suppose it depends on why they're borrowing it, what they're borrowing it for. If it is to get them out, if it's to save their house, like they're going to lose their house or whatever, then absolutely I would give them. If it's to go on holiday, I'd go, no, you need to work for that.
If you own a house, you know, you can remortgage it. You must get someone else to pay your mortgage.
But people just get into that terrible roller coaster of debt, and they, you know.
Especially these days.
I know what you're saying, and you're probably right and sensible, and I wish I could be that cold and heartless, but I can't.
But you see, the thing is, I know someone who did exactly that, and she lent money to a member of her family, and, you know, there was absolutely no indication whatsoever that they were going to pay it back. And then, like, you know, a couple of years down the line, the relative who borrowed the money spent, like, thousands of pounds on a holiday. You know, and in actual fact, I would have said, excuse me, shouldn't you be paying back the money you owe me first before you go on a luxury holiday? But she never said anything, and she beats herself up about it all the time. Oh, I wish I'd said something. I should have said something. I'm never going to get my money back. Stop moaning to me about it. Go and tell her, and you might get it back. That's the simple answer. Well, I will, but she's not my relative, is she?
Can I just say drinks on Jane?
Yes.
Last week. Now, rock star Eric Clapton has revealed he didn't have sober sex until he was in his 30s, due largely to alcohol. He says when he first came out of rehab, he struggled to perform with his wife, as he'd never had sex while sober. It just seems really bizarre. To be married, he never had sex sober.
Once.
No. Now, Colleen, do you need a little bit of a drink to loosen up?
Start with me, why don't you?
At least you're getting it. You have to.
Well, no, to be honest, drunk or sober, I'm easy. No. No, drunk or sober is great. I can do it all. But obviously, I must say, when I am drunk, I probably lose even more of my inhibitions. I probably will swing.
I don't think there's any left
from the
for you to lose.
There's not really, but we won't go down that route, will we?
Okay.
No, it's daytime after all.
That's what she says when she's sober.
Yeah.
What about when Ray's drunk, though?
What? Oh, yeah, well, I'll still do it. No, you know, I am that song. I'm just a girl who can't say no. That's me.
Well, what's better? You know, for me, you know, I like a drink, and actually, if I'd never drunk, I probably would never have had sex. And neither would they. But seriously, I do prefer it not drunk, because it's A, it's quicker, and B... Well, it is. B, it's just better. There's so much more sense and more feeling. So, you know, when you're drunk, I don't know, it is great because it's happening, but, you know, it does get a bit...
It's quicker when you're drunk.
No, it's not.
It is, because you miss out
absolutely
all
not.
the stupid bit at the beginning, like the, yeah, you're lovely and I love you. When you're drunk, you just go for it.
I'm not talking about that.
I bet you'll need a drink if you ever do it again, won't you?
No, absolutely. I'll need loads. It's like doing it for the first time. I'll be so nervous. I'll be like, oh, I don't think I've forgotten what... Well, I haven't forgotten what I've done it quite a few times.
I have to say, I'm a bit of a sober sex person, because I usually drink at night, and I'm too tired. If I have a drink, I want to go to sleep. You know, and also...
Well, that shouldn't stop you.
I like all my faculties there, you know, because it takes a bit of concentration. I don't know about... Do you not think?
You've got to think.
I think you've got to
No,
think
it
about it. You've got to
doesn't.
get your mindset. That's what I'm going to do. You've got to think of something. Or somebody else.
Something else.
So you need all your factors, and it